What is going on, beautiful people, and welcome to the Sacramento Kings MyLeague series here on NBA 2K21. And I already know what some of you guys are going to say. No, Kaz, you should wait until the offseason happens so you get all the free agents on the right teams and whatnot, and you get all the rookies. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the 2K share service has finally started working on this game. They finally fixed it. And so I have access to draft classes, custom draft classes at that, so that I can kind of make my own experience with this MyLeague. And obviously it's going to be a little bit awkward because of the months and whatnot in this game. But with the Niners series just ending, and with Moratorium looking like it's probably going to end soon as well, I figured now is as good a time as any to get started with the Kings series here. So I decided to simulate the first season just so we can get the draft classes in here. And the results of the sim are pretty weird. Now, I did turn off injuries. I mean, there still were a few that popped up for some reason. And I also turned off trading, so there were no trades that happened throughout this year. And we had a really interesting final situation here. We had the Bucks going up against the Warriors, and the Warriors end up winning the championship. So the Golden State Warriors win the championship this year. It's pretty interesting. And as far as the Kings go, they end up getting the 9th pick in the lottery. The Hornets got the 1st pick, the Cavaliers got the 2nd pick, and the Suns got the 3rd pick. So I turned trades back on for the draft, and now we begin the NBA draft. And the Hornets have the 1st pick, and they go with Anthony Edwards out of Georgia, which is not really a surprise because he's expected to be one of the top picks in the draft this year. Now with the 2nd pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select LaMelo Ball, the youngest member of the Ball family. Not quite sure why it says he's 6'7", but I guess. And then with the 3rd pick, you had the Suns getting Killian Hayes. I know it's kind of hard to see there, but that's who they ended up picking. With the 4th pick, the Spurs end up picking James Wiseman, and can he be the next in their long lineage of great bigs? I mean, obviously they had the Admiral David Robinson, and they had Tim Duncan most recently. Aaron Nesmith from Vanderbilt ends up going to the Pistons at pick number 5. At pick number 6, the Knicks end up getting Deni Avdija, I think that's how you pronounce his name, out of Israel. And then with the 7th pick, the Bulls end up picking Devin Vassell from Florida State. Roll Tribe, baby, Knoll Nation. And he'll end up joining Kobe White and Lauri Markkanen over in Chicago. And then Saddiq Bey is the pick at number 8 for the Indiana Pacers. So now it leads to the Sacramento Kings. And who will we pick number 9th overall? We're going to pick Onyeka Okongwu out of USC. He's 6'9", 245, and will probably move to power forward since Marvin Bagley is still on the team. But that is the pick for the Kings. So now we'll go through the rest of the first round, and with the 10th pick, Tyrese Halliburton will go to the Minnesota Timberwolves, the point guard out of Iowa. So they get their point guard of the future, supposedly. And with pick number 11, the Thunder were in a bit of a rebuild, pick Jalen Smith out of Maryland, a 6'10", 227 power forward, is now heading to the Thunder. Now with pick number 12, the Magic on the board, and they are going to select absolutely nobody. They're going to trade their pick to the Cavaliers along with Terrence Ross for Larry Nance and a top 10 protected pick next year. And with that pick, the Cavaliers select Patrick Williams out of Florida State. Another Knoll is selected in the first round. Then Alexei Pokusevsky goes to the Pelicans. The Nuggets end up getting Jalen McDaniels out of Washington. And speaking of Washington, the Whiz Kids select RJ Hampton out of UCLA. So that kicks off the non-lottery picks. Now with the 16th pick, Obi Toppin is now playing for the Utah Jazz. With the 17th pick, Sammy White, the 3rd out of South Florida, is now a Toronto Raptor. Now with pick number 18, the Heat get Cole Anthony out of North Carolina. He was expected to be like a lottery pick, but he falls into the 18th pick. Tyrese Maxey is heading to the Atlanta Hawks out of Kentucky. And then the Knicks again on the board. They get this Kiba dude out of Ukraine. I don't know if he's a real player or not, but don't ask me. Alonzo Fletcher is heading to the Mavericks to join Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. Nico Mannion out of Arizona heads to OKC. With the 23rd pick, the Trailblazers get Warren Gill out of Penn State. And now the Celtics have 2 of the next 3 picks. With the 24th pick, they get Frank Glover out of Oklahoma. And now with the 25th pick, the Nets will select Todd Aldridge out of Indiana State. So they get the Sycamore on their team. And so it looks like they have 3 of the next 5 picks as the Celtics get Theo Elliott out of VCU. Now with pick number 27, Monty Bullard is heading to the Timberwolves. And now the Celtics use their 3rd first-round pick, and they get Wendell Chapman out of Air Force. And now the Lakers picking 29th, they get Gordon Sims out of Memphis. And with the final pick in the first round, the Golden State Warriors pick up Irvin White, the point guard out of Kansas State. So they got a backup and maybe a future point guard for the team as Steph Curry continues to age. And now we head to the second round, and the Kings open it up by drafting Ivan Jukic out of Croatia. So this should be an interesting pick. Later on, they get Rabio Udo and Michael Evans in the draft. And then after the draft, I decide to trade Corey Joseph over to the Pelicans for a first-round pick in 2025. So we get rid of his contract. I'm only going to trade players who are in the final year of their contract, so I am going to keep Harrison Barnes around for at least 1 more year. And if he ends up contributing, maybe I'll bring him in. So now we go to the Moratorium, and De'Aaron Fox just got an offer from the Lakers that he's willing to accept. So now the Kings have an opportunity to match the contract, and you're going to look at the contract, and I'm definitely going to match what they're going to offer him because De'Aaron Fox is a building block for this Kings team. The Lakers offered him a 3-year deal worth $88.56 million. And I'm just not willing to let him go away, period, let alone to a team that is considered a rival to the Kings, although it's not much of a rivalry these days. But I did decide to keep De'Aaron Fox, and I pretty much renounced the rights to everybody else on the team. Now let's look at the Moratorium, and Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to the Heat, Kawhi Leonard heading to the Grizzlies to join Ja Morant, Anthony Davis goes to the Mavericks. Man, the Mavericks are looking scary right now with Doncic, Porzingis, and now Anthony Davis. Paul George finally goes to the Lakers, Donovan Mitchell stays with the Jazz, Jason Tatum stays with the Celtics, Bam Adebayo stays with the Heat, Rudy Gobert stays with the Jazz, surprisingly enough, Brandon Ingram stays with the Pelicans, De'Aaron Fox obviously stays with the Kings, and John Collins stays with the Hawks, and Andre Drummond goes to the Spurs. So now we go to the first day of free agency, and the Kings have offered Alex Caruso, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Kyle Kuzma all contracts. Now, unfortunately, we were not able to have enough cap space to sign Caruso, so we stuck with Caldwell-Pope and Kuzma. And I know everybody's going to say that you're just signing a bunch of Lakers castaways. Well, sometimes you just got to sign, mid-tier players to short-term contracts to help build your team moving forward. And that's what I intend to do here. I don't really expect any of these guys to end up being starters or anything like long-term. Maybe Kuzma if he can get his act together. But honestly, I'm just signing them in order to get a few role players on the team. And obviously, as you see here, I didn't have enough money to get Caruso. So I stuck with Kuzma. And I signed KCP, and I also signed to a league minimum contract the son of the glove, Gary Payton II. I decided to sign him for a little depth at the combo guard position. He can play point guard and shooting guard, so I can definitely use him to help develop some of these other guys. And again, it's a 1-year deal. I'm not expecting a lot of these guys that I signed in free agency to stick long term. I'm mainly just building around Fox, Bagley, and Okongwu at this point. Even Buddy Hield is another guy I can build around. Harrison Barnes will probably be gone next year. But I'm just going to continue to build around what we have right now, and then maybe we'll draft one more piece next year. I know generally in the NBA, a lot of these teams buy NBA championships, but I'm trying to build a more old-fashioned team by just kind of building around the guys that we ended up developing ourselves. And even Buddy Hield is one of those guys who really wasn't a draft pick for the Kings, but he's somebody who we can bring along to be like another piece for this team. I mean, he's not really met the expectations that some people have held for him, but we'll have to see what we can do with him. Marvin Bagley is a developing center, and if we continue to develop him moving forward, I think that he could be a pretty damn good center for this basketball team. But we'll just have to see what the future holds for him. Obviously, I wasn't drafting Okongwu to replace him. He was just moving to power forward. And of course, De'Aaron Fox is the guy that I really want to build this team around. He's the number one scoring option on this team, which might be problematic considering he's a point guard, but it doesn't matter where it comes from. I mean, he can be a distributor, he can score a lot. He's just the guy that I depend on when it comes to facilitating the offense in this series. So now we go into the scrimmage, and I'm just going to talk to you guys about what the future holds for this series. Basically, my plan with this series is to have it uploaded maybe 2 or 3 times a week, depending on how much you guys enjoy the series. So again, if you guys really want to see this series, if you guys are enjoying it and you want to see it uploaded more often, then let me know by hitting that like button. That way I'll know to upload it more often, maybe more than Meridian, maybe even more than the Chargers series. I mean, just let me know by hitting that like button, and I will definitely get it done. And honestly, I'm going to do this series a little differently, at least maybe for the first year or so, than I did the Maverick series. Now, the Maverick series, I usually play like, 1 in every 4 games, 1 in every 5 games, something like that. Well, basically, the rule that I'm going to put in for this series is once I go down by 21 or up by 21, then I'm going to go into the sim, and if it becomes a closer game, I'll go back into the game. And honestly, I'm not going to play every single game, because playing all 82, even doing what I plan on doing for the games I do play during the regular season, it's just a bit too much. Ain't nobody got time to play all 82 games and have a successful series, because, if I play all 82 games in every season, then I'm probably going to only get through 1 year of this series, maybe 2 if I'm lucky, maybe 2 if I'm diligent enough and you guys are enjoying the series. So what I'm thinking is every episode will maybe be all the games I play during the month, and maybe I'll play 2 or 3 games per month and just kind of consolidate each of those games into one maybe 20-25 minute video. We'll have to see what happens. And then for playoffs, for each playoff series, I'll play the first game through its entirety, and then I'll sim the other games until we get to the elimination game, until those games are really close. If it's close in the fourth quarter, game 2 and 3, I'll jump into the fourth quarter and try to get the team the victory. And then once we hit the elimination game, whether we're facing elimination or our opponents are facing elimination, I'll play that game in its entirety. And that's how we'll do playoffs. I'll do that for the first round. I'll do it for the finals if and when we make it. So I plan on getting through each year of this series pretty quickly for the most part. I don't think that any given year of this series should take longer than a month, honestly, as long as people are enjoying the series. But I mean, if people aren't enjoying the series, I'll probably still play it if I'm enjoying it. I probably might just upload it maybe once or twice a week, and then it'll be a little bit slower of a process. But realistically, it might not take me longer than a month or a month and a half, 2 months tops to get through a single year. But we'll just have to see how it goes. We'll have to see how you guys enjoy the series first and foremost. And if you guys are interested in creating a prospect, I'll have a template down below, and you guys can fill out the template to create a prospect. And as always, YouTube channel members and patrons will have first round talent, lottery talent for the most part. Whereas, regular subscribers, it might be a mixed bag. Maybe you'll be a lottery pick, maybe you'll be late first round, maybe you'll be an undrafted talent, maybe you'll be late second, early second. We'll have to see. But yeah, if you guys want to make a player, then check out the comment section below for the template, and try to make your players as realistic as humanly possible, and try to make the name as appropriate as humanly possible. And I'm not going to bust you guys down too badly about this, but try not to use the same name that you guys use for every other series, because I might make a little variation of it, and that's just kind of up to my discretion pretty much. But yeah, the template again will be down below, and I'll try to be as fair as humanly possible when it comes to where your player is projected to be, overall and all that stuff. But yeah, my expectations for this series, I do think that it will go a lot better than the Maverick series. And obviously the Maverick series ended prematurely because my file got corrupted, A, and then B, I just wasn't enjoying the game enough to restart the series or start a brand new series or anything like that. So I just decided to bring it to an end. But if you guys are really enjoying this series, and if I'm enjoying the game, then, you know, I think that even if that were to happen again, which I'm not counting on, like I don't count on, like, you know, my files getting like corrupted and whatnot, then, you know, if something were to happen, like knock on wood it doesn't happen, then I'd be more willing to restart it. And honestly, I'm enjoying the game. I feel like the defense is a lot tougher in this game. Like the CPU is a lot more adaptive, for lack of a better word, to how you play. Like, you know, like you can't just get away with just like driving in and laying the ball up every single time. You can't just get away with shooting threes all day. You gotta kind of like variate your offense, or bring variance to your offense. I don't know if variance is actually a word or not, but anyways, I know 2K gets a lot of complaints from the community, like the main core of people who play 2K, but I'm personally enjoying the gameplay that I'm getting so far with the sliders I'm using. And as long as I'm enjoying it, I'm going to continue having it on my channel. And who knows, maybe I'll start a My Career series on the channel as well. And that will definitely be a live com series as well. So I definitely think you guys would enjoy that one. But we'll just have to see how much I continue to enjoy the game. Usually I'm not a big My Career guy, but I'm willing to give it a shot this year. So if you guys are hyped for this series and you're hyped for more franchise and dynasty content here on Craniac Gaming, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn your notifications on to join the notification gang. That way every time I upload a video, you guys will be notified, and we won't keep that mofo rolling here on Craniac Gaming. And if you want to see more from the channel, check out these playlists in front of you.
I've been suffering in silence, and they paid me no mind. I've been stuck inside the shadows for a really long time. It feels like they forgot about me. Well, I'm here to remind you that the world is gonna hear me when it's my time to shine.